free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Hi, fellas! Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader. Rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 30th day of June, 2017. This year is officially half over. Boy, time flies. Let me tell you. All right, happy Friday. Long weekend ahead of you. 4 days. We don't get too many of those, but because the 4th of July falls on a Tuesday, Monday's a wash, and once we close out of here today, we will not be back until Wednesday morning at the opening bell. Okay, so I'm going to go in and do the little clickety clicks so that you don't get an email notification on Monday or Tuesday. I may have already done that, but I'll double check. I don't want you to get an invitation Monday or Tuesday in your email and you're like, oh, they changed their mind. They're actually going to be there. No, we won't. Monday, markets close early, and then Tuesday, they're just closed completely. So just take the weekend, enjoy the time, and we'll see you on Wednesday. But we still have today to go through. If you can't see the chart I have up, same as always, go to the home page, cfrn.net. On the right-hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. Within 30 seconds, you'll be registered all the way through the end of today's show. And come Next Wednesday morning, you'll have to do it all over again. Once a month, okay? So if you're just showing up today for the first time this month, well, do it today, do it again Wednesday. But the good news is if you do it Wednesday, you won't have to do it again until the 1st of August. Sweet. All right. You can also go to youtube.com/CFRN. Click in the upper left-hand corner where it says live, and that will take you to the charts and also to the chat box. All right. And that's the other thing. Not only does registering give you access to the charts so that you can see what we're talking about, it also gives you access to the chat box so that you can share any thoughts, comments, or ideas that you might have in regards to whatever it is we happen to be discussing. Let's take a look at the numbers from around the world. These are the cash markets, and we'll start here at home. The Dow is up 80 points. NASDAQ is up almost 12. S&P 500 is up a little over 7. And the Russell 2000 is just barely above the flat line. Okay. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 60 cents, trading 45.53 last. Now that's a jump of over 1.25%. Gold, on the other hand, is down $2.40, trading 12.4340 last. As we move to the Asian markets, the Nikkei closed down 186 points on the session. Shanghai closed up 3, and the Hang Seng closed down a little over 200 points. So the Nikkei, it's almost 1%, and the Hang Seng, it's down 0.75%. Last but not least, European markets, they're just as red today as they were yesterday. FTSE down 37 points, 0.5%. The DAX down 91 points, 0.75%. And the CAC down 33 points, over 0.5%. So Europe is red. Asia is mixed, and it's only mixed because we've got those 3 points green on the Shanghai. And here at home, everything's green. That's the good news. Now, top White House staffers have threatened the host of MSNBC's Morning Joe with a negative story in the National Enquirer, unless the host beg President Trump to stop it. That's the charge. The hosts, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, I don't watch the show, made the allegations in a Washington Post op-ed article after the president bashed them in tweets Thursday morning. I read those tweets, and he really did do a number on this lady here. I know nothing about her. This year, top White House staff members warned that the National Enquirer was planning to publish a negative article about us unless we begged the president to have the story spiked. Now, this comment came directly from Scarborough and Brzezinski, also known as Morning Joe. We ignored their desperate pleas. Trump responded to the allegation in a tweet this morning. Watched low-rated at Morning Joe for first time in a long time, Trump tweeted. Fake news. He called me to stop a National Enquirer article. I said no. Bad show. This is the president of the free world. Scarborough quickly shot back. Yet another lie, he tweeted in response to Trump. I have text from your top aides and phone records. Also, those records show I haven't spoken with you in many months. The National Enquirer responded to Brzezinski, Scarborough, and Trump in a statement. This is what the National Enquirer had to say. At the beginning of June, we accurately reported a story that recounted the relationship between Joe Scarborough and Miss Brzezinski, the truth of which is not in dispute. That's from Dylan Howard, who is the Chief Content Officer for the National Enquirer. At no time did we threaten either Joe or Miss Brzezinski or their children in connection with our reporting on the story. We have no knowledge of any discussions between the White House and Joe and Micah about our story, and absolutely no involvement in those discussions. Trump has had a contentious relationship with the MSNBC hosts for some time. Before he ran for president, Trump was friendly with Brzezinski and Scarborough, and they were initially receptive to his candidacy until he freaked him out by winning. But they have since pivoted to criticizing him heavily on air. The feud escalated this week when he tweeted that Brzezinski once visited his Florida estate, Mar-a-Lago, while she was bleeding from a facelift. Man, that's right off the playground. I don't know. Pray for our country. That's all we can do. You know? Just pray. We tried voting. That didn't work, so now we pray. Michael, if you're ready, some of you know and some of you may not know, but we got a little something special we're doing today. We're got a giveaway going on, and Michael's going to come in and give us a recap of the live training room, and he's also going to send somebody, two somebodies on vacation.
Yes. I sent you an email with the winning names.
You did. Okay. Let me check. Okay. I got it. You gonna do the honors, or?
You can do it, but I'll do the recap, and then we can do it.
All right.
There's something else. Okay. And let me take the charts. Oops. Let me change my name. Mike Reed is in the house too.
Okay, good.
Okay, now I can take the charts. Alright. Everyone should be looking at my charts now.
It's getting close. Boom. There they are. All right. It's all yours.
Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 30th day of June, 2017. The last day of the first half of the year of 2017. If you have not taken a free trial with us, you just need to go to the homepage here at cfrn.net. And when you do, up here at the very top, a little banner is going to pop up that says Use Our Indicators, Learn Our Strategy. Click here. Click there. Put in your first name, put in your email address, click on Register Now. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay. Once you click the confirmation link, you will, once you click the confirmation link, you'll be sent all the information you need to get into the free trial. Okay. Now, everybody who is in here right now on Wednesday next week, because we're going to be closed Monday and Tuesday, but on Wednesday next week, you are going to have to sign up for this room again. Now, to sign up for this room, you go to the homepage at cfrn.net. You click right here where the microphone is, and then you scroll down to where it says Watch Live Now, and you fill out the little form that's going to be here. It's going to be here. It's not here now because you can't sign up for it now because it's already started and it's the last one of Friday, June 30th. But there'll be a little form here for you to fill out. Okay. Once you do that, you'll be sent a link to get into the next session or to get into this session. Prior to this session, every business day for the rest of the month of July. Okay. All right. The recap. Bang. Here we go. This is an odd number, 222.50, because we got it 2 days ago, the same number, 222.50. But 2 days ago, we did it with 34 ticks on the euro and 2 ticks on the YM. Today, we did it with 10 ticks on the euro, 10 ticks on crude, and 6 ticks on gold. Just comes up to an odd number. Anyway, that was our day today, 6:30, 2017. Today it took 75 minutes and 5 trade opportunities to get to the goal, and we took a total of 8. So we're going to end the month with plus 2,800. That's over 22 days, averaging 127 per day. If you're going to read this spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Okay, so now we are $18,935 over 123 trading days, averaging $153 per day. That's 2 hours, 1 contract, 123 days. Okay, I don't know what that averages out to. 123. Hang on. Let me just see what that averages out to. 1,8,935 divided by 246 equals $76 an hour. That's what that averages out to. All right, again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Okay, so on the gold, there was some pre-market activity here in the gold. I was afraid once we started up, because the news events weren't really moving anything, that that we're going to have a hard time getting our goal for the day. But we ended up having some pretty good movement afterward. Okay, our first trade here on the gold was a break even. Next one was also a break even. Then we missed that one right there that would have gotten us our goal for the day. We got that one, which was 5 ticks, and this one, which was 1 tick. Okay, and then we had to wait and wait and wait, and we didn't get anything else in the gold. All right, so we're plus 6 in the gold. The euro, we had 4 right here. We missed this one. See, the euro started out over here. We missed that one and that one. And we got 4 ticks there and 6 ticks there, putting us at plus 10 on the euro. We missed that follow-up one right there. During the break, there was a long right here for that leg up, and nothing else. Nothing else today. Okay, on the crude. On the crude, we had a shorting opportunity right here. The first one, we took 4 ticks on. Okay, and then the next one right over here, we got 6 ticks on. Since then, there was 1 momentum trade right there, and that was really pretty much it. 1 momentum trade. Okay, now we had the NQ and the YM out today. We didn't do anything with either one, but the NQ did have plenty of opportunity today. I didn't highlight much of it, but I know there was a bunch of trade opportunities in there on the NQ today. Okay, and as we go into this long weekend, we will have to wait and see here. All right, let me scroll back here and on the YM, I just wanted to take a look on the YM and see what there was today. It was really choppy through here, so we wouldn't have done anything until we had a higher swing in place. And right here, the cycle was going down too steep, and nothing in here. In here, I would have been looking for a lower swing, which we didn't get until over here. So there wouldn't have been anything until way over here on the YM. That would have been the first opportunity, second opportunity, third opportunity right there. Okay, then it changed directions again. Cycle was going up too steep to short in here. Then I would have been looking for a higher swing in here. So it was just choppy today. one opportunity off the BBC right there. Then a momentum long trade right there. And that was it on the YM today. Okay, so we're looking at the NQ and the YM, and we didn't do anything with either one. On the ES, you can see we started out in a zone right here, and then we dropped down to this zone and kind of stuck to that zone, and we're still stuck in that zone, just going back and forth right over that zone. So that was it. That was it for the day. And let me see something here. Okay. All right. What I was looking for was to see if the winners are actually in the audience, and they're not. The spreadsheet, again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Today is the 30th day of June. We got 10 ticks in the euro, 10 ticks in crude, 6 ticks in gold, 222.50 gross. Over 75 minutes, 5 trade opportunities. Got $100 a contract, with a total of 8 trade opportunities on the day, getting us 222.50 gross. So on the month, gross 2,800 over 22 days, averaging 127 per day. If you apply an $8 commission to every single trade of the 175, your net would be $1,400. With a $5 commission, your net would be $1,925. And down here at the bottom, gross yearly total $18,935. That's over 123 days, averaging 153 per contract per day. Okay, that's one contract, 2 hours a day. Again, if you're going to read this, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Let's see. If you have not taken the free trial, just go to the home page here, and right up here at the very top it says, use our indicators, learn our strategy. Click here, just click there, give us your first name, your email address, click on register now. And that's all you got to do. That's it. Just like that. All right. Yeah. All right. That's it. With that, I am done with the recap and ready to pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay, so the two names that were drawn are not in the audience, and that was part of the deal. It says you must be present to win. So I guess we'll give them away next week.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I mean, the rules were pretty simple, right?
They were, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure that they got the email that had the rules in it, because one was a partner, so a partner would not get that email, right?
No, he probably would.
And we mentioned it in the meeting last night, and he was in the meeting last night, so that may be where he was taking it from. So let's talk about it. We'll make a decision.
All right.
And we mentioned it in the meeting last night, and he wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not a harsh dude, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Grab the screens. Get those.
Give me a second. Pass it back out.
Got it.
Studio A overlooking nation's largest city park.
America's largest city park.
America's.
All right. Recap of the recap.
Today it took 75 minutes and 5 trade opportunities to get to $100 per contract.
Very good. Another day. Job well done.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Ugh.
Okay. Alrighty. Have a great weekend. I'm sure I'll speak with you at some point over the weekend.
Yes,
and
I am sure. Okay, you have a great weekend too.
You flying out anywhere? Or are you staying home? What are you doing?
Staying here. Staying local.
Good for you.
Yeah, but I have Jake here with me, so
yeah,
that's good.
All right. Well, have fun, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you soon.
Okay. Mr. Mike Reed, how are you, sir? Are you there?
Hello, Dwayne.
Hey, buddy. It's been a while.
Yeah. Been a lot going on. So
A lot going on.
Got back here as soon as I could, I guess.
Yeah. So, tell me what's been going on market-wise from your end. How do you see? You know, we had no volatility, then all of a sudden we had a couple of days of incredible volatility, and now what?
It went all the way down to what was a previous breakout area, just above it, and on the daily charts was highs for a while from earlier in the year, and then they broke out. I'm not sure if it was May 1st or something like that. And S&P 500 cash had traded above that area for quite a while, and then yesterday we came right down to it. It was at 2402 to 2450 on my futures contracts.
Okay, what number are you talking about now? Say it again.
It was 2400, what's the number? Handle here. 2402 to 2400 and a half is a little zone down there that
okay.
You see it tops across.
Yep.
It's probably in that area in there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, and on a cash chart, not necessarily a future chart, due to rollover and that time decay, whatnot, but the cash chart has a breakout area just right. Yesterday's low down just about 4 to 5 points below at the most, and that's where it had some highs made. And then it finally broke out above this area and held at 2400. So that was kind of breakout area here, and we go back under yesterday's lows and start holding under there. I think we
did
started
spike below it yesterday, but we closed back up above it.
Yeah, but the spike down there was right to 2400.
Yep.
And if you go across your chart, see 2400 there is a prior high area, double top like.
Right here, guys. This is what he's talking about right here. Top at the top, and then a low.
Yeah. Yep. And then from there on down to 97, 96, just a little bit below it, so there wasn't a whole lot of room below there for that to bounce from to avoid what could have been a bigger breakdown yesterday. But they were down good. They were down 38 points from top to bottom before bouncing there. So they made it back, and today they topped at a resistance at 27, 28 area. Turned down, and with three lows at that 18.5, I guess I probably have to see that broken before any kind of late sell off. But I don't know. I thought today would be a quiet day, but it was actually a bit better movement here early. This afternoon, I don't know. I'll probably thin out.
Yeah, you know, often we'll rally into a holiday weekend, a long weekend. I've seen that happen.
Yeah,
quite a bit. But right now, the market's not showing anything convincing that it plans to do that. I mean, we're down at 24.23, and although yesterday was a red day, we put in a high early at
40.5.
Yep, 24.45 on the futures is what I've got for the high. So, yeah, we're well off of that high and well off of the low. So today is going to be an inside day, unless something changes.
Yeah. We made kind of a V-shaped bottom in this run up here. And
right here?
Kind of, yeah.
On the 18th?
It came right down to 24.02 there. And normally the V bottoms get retested. Oh, down here. Yeah, yesterday they left that V bottom.
No, I thought you were talking about this V bottom right here.
I see that one, yeah.
Yeah, but
that might have a chance.
You were talking about
yesterday. You see that spike down.
Oh, yesterday.
Go away from
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
They left kind of a V bottom there, and have a bounce back here. I think that you make momentum lows and then tend to make price lows after a lot of times. So we could come down to test low on lesser momentum, would set up a better move on the upside. But right now there's a 1, 2, 3 top on the daily chart and then a breakdown to the big support. So I'm gonna view this as a bounce in it and with a high end place for at least for a while. I think it's really gonna be hard to get back up to the highs, and if they do, just be able to stay up there. So I think we've probably seen highs for a while. It's going to take some work.
Now, you, along with the S&P, you do trade the NASDAQ some, right?
Yeah, it's super wild, and it's reminiscent of Y2K action, where we've had the huge moves, 96 point day and 120 some point move, huge swings the last several days from top to bottom.
Yeah, and then today it got real quiet. This was the day of consolidation. I mean, yesterday we had from our alert was to sell 57.67, and the thing dropped 166 points from our alert at 57.67. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
We had this last couple days we had a 96 point. Let's see, 96 point drop, 95 3/4 point bounce, 32 point pullback. 134 point drop, and now this rally back's a little bit higher here, but 50 some points. But yeah, it's pretty wild volatility and it just was really a lot like that. And Y2K when the bubble broke, and so I would be selling rallies on the NASDAQ. Anyhow, it's a lot more volatile than the ES is, so be a little more careful of that. In fact, the S&P was even intra-bar there for a while. A few days back was pretty volatile. Or I think coming off yesterday's lows, they ran about 8 points in 5 minutes or something like that, maybe a little more. But anyways, fast moves, which is always nice to have if you're on board. So what's your outlook here, Dwayne? Or?
We just keep pushing this boulder up the hill, and just when I think it can't roll any higher, there it goes. So I'm certainly not trying to call a top at this point. I never do, but particularly now, just whatever the market brings each day, as long as it's got enough movement in it to give us our goal for the day, Well, we're happy with that, and we'll take it and run with it and do the best we can.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Rocky movie where they keeps getting knocked down, but I don't know how it ends, but I don't know if he gets up at the end or not. One of these days, they're not going to be able to come back from one of these big sell-offs. That could get things going, but
any plans for the holiday?
I'm about to ask you the same thing. I think I'm gonna be around here. That's my plans. Some stuff to do around the house, or just relax a little bit. I think, Dwayne. How about you?
Oh, I have no doubt that we'll end up getting wrangled into a barbecue somewhere or some kind of something, but no concrete plans yet that I'm aware of. It doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm not aware of them yet. So
yeah, that's like me. Oh, you didn't know? I didn't tell you. 10 minutes before you're ready to go out the door.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Same here. So, well, we've covered the markets and we've covered the holiday. This mess we have on Capitol Hill, and what's your take on that, man?
With the tweet about the reporter,
just everything. The fact that we got the president elected that we thought, we were confident could do the job. He wasn't a career politician. He was a businessman, and he was going to run the country like a business, and it was going to be different. And now, because of whatever the reasons are, I mean, we've got both houses, and we can't,
I know.
we can't get anything done. I mean, I've never seen such incredible gridlock. I mean,
I know. I was really hopeful, but I was really hopeful they'd work together finally. But I don't know.
Well, it's not even a matter of working. It's not about Republicans and Democrats working together. My goodness, it's if we could just get the Republicans to support the president at this point. I mean, that would be a huge step forward. I mean, here it is, the end of June. We've already burned up, I don't know for 6 months almost of his presidency, and what have we gotten done? Not much. And I don't mean to be hard on him. I voted for him. I campaigned for him, I guess would be on the radio, but I didn't go out and carry signs. I'm not that kind of guy. But I thought I had no idea that he would meet with such incredible headwinds from his own party. That's just it's not acceptable.
Yeah. I don't know. He didn't make a whole lot of friends among his mates on the Republican side.
No. And
the debates and stuff.
And because of the size of his wallet and his ego, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I think he should care because the fate of our nation is at stake.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's all said and done, he can go hole up in Mar-a-Lago for the rest of his life, and thanks to Amazon, he'll never have to even look at another human being if he doesn't want to. That's his choice. But
he's not an Amazon fan. I don't think he's going to do that. But
right. I'm just saying he has choices and options available to him when this is all said and done. Yeah, I'm just saying, he has options that most people don't have, and I just hope that he can get a grip on his Twitter and on everything else, and just be the president. Just be the president. That's all we ask. That's what we hired you to do. You said you wanted to be the president. You said you would do your very best to do a good job as a president. So, you know, I know he's frustrated because every time he tries to do something, somebody tries to stop him. So,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but we have to go through 4 more years of this stuff. I just, well, I scream. What do we do? I don't know what we do.
So you got a couple new things going on. If folks go to tradestalker.com, can they read about it on your front page there?
Dwayne caught me up. Let's see what Julie. I'm not sure we were. I have to go to my own home front page. She must have sprung something on me because I didn't know.
Oh, I don't know. I thought I saw an email about something that you were going to do a little different. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you put that on the website or not. That's maybe in the works here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, keep us updated so we can make sure that everybody knows. And folks, Mike's site, tradestalker.com. Best name in the business, tradestalker.com, because if you're going to be a trader, it's not about always having a hook in the water or two. It's about waiting for that high probability opportunity that you recognize and understand, and they don't come along every 5 minutes. So knowing when not to trade is as important as knowing when to trade. And so that's what makes it, such a great name. So, brother, I hope you have a great holiday, great weekend. Guys, go visit Mike at tradestalker.com. He's got a lot of free information on his site. There's some videos and some articles, and you can kind of get to know who he is. You can pick up a copy of his book, Read the Greed, Take the Money, and also you can get a free trial to his newsletter, which you've been sending that out for how many years?
Oh boy, I think I started this almost 20 years ago. 20? Close to on it. Almost 20, yeah. So long time.
Well, brother, Dwayne, say hi to Julie. Yeah, and we'll do. You guys have a great weekend, and pop back on next week.
All right. If you get a chance, give me a call over the weekend.
All right. Sure will.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. Always. Okay. John should be dialing in here pretty shortly. So let's jump over, take a look at a couple of headlines until he shows. Russian hackers reportedly discussed hacking Hillary Clinton's 33,000 deleted emails and transferring them to Michael Flynn, and then a member of the Trump campaign, according to the Wall Street Journal. There's only one rub, bub, and that's that there is no evidence yet that anyone actually got a hold of any emails. A U.S. teenager has been charged with manslaughter after allegedly shooting her husband in a YouTube stunt that went wrong. Pedro Ruiz III died from a single gunshot wound after holding an encyclopedia against his chest, which was intended to stop the bullet. Oh, how did this go wrong? Well, number one, don't be shooting at people, even if they have an encyclopedia. According to local media, Perez shot Ruiz with a Desert Eagle handgun while he held a thick hardback encyclopedia against his chest, which was meant to stop the bullet. Now, I'm guessing he read on the internet somewhere that an encyclopedia would stop a bullet. The Star Tribune of Minneapolis reported that the pair had set up cameras outside their home in Hallstatt, Minnesota, to record the attempt on Monday evening. Oh my gosh. their 3-year-old daughter was reportedly watching when Perez fired from a range of about 30 centimeters, 30 cm. Isn't that awfully close? Perez, who is pregnant with a second child, tweeted earlier that day that they were planning one of the most dangerous videos ever, which was his idea, not mine. The couple ran a YouTube channel called La Mona Lisa, which promises its 2,000 subscribers a new video every week. Most posts are challenges, stunts, and pranks, as well as a record of Perez's pregnancy. A charging document obtained by the Star Tribune detailed how Perez claimed she was convinced to go through with the idea by Ruiz. She said he had shown her another book which he shot, but which managed to block the bullet. Local TV station Valley News Live reported that the local sheriff's office was first on the scene after the shooting and called in a medical helicopter to evacuate Ruiz. He was given first aid and chest compressions, but was later pronounced dead at the scene. Local prosecutors say that 2 cameras were recording at the time of the shooting and that they have seized the files as evidence. Perez was arrested and charged with second-degree manslaughter, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. She paid a $7,000 bail bond and was released on Wednesday night. In an interview with the WDAY TV local news station, one of Ruiz's aunts said he had discussed the shooting video with her before. She said that she asked him why he wanted to try such a dangerous stunt, and that he replied, because we want more viewers. We want to get famous. You know, these YouTube channels, many of them are very popular. Some of these folks have hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers. And you can do a deal with YouTube where you sell advertising, and some of them actually make some pretty good money. This PewDiePie that got fired recently, this guy was making like $1 million a year, but he used some hate speech, and so all of the advertisers and YouTube distanced themselves from him. But I mean, he would just get in front of the camera and just act like a nut, you know, and say outlandish things. And apparently he was quite fond of profanity. I never watched one of his shows, but these two really stepped it up. We wanted more viewers. We wanted to get famous. And now, for the rest of her life, whether she's found guilty or not, she's got to live with the thought that she not only killed her husband, the father of her child, but that her child was watching when it happened. Twitter has denied it's joining the fight against fake news. The company was reportedly considering ways for users to flag tweets with false or misleading information, according to the Post, but have denied it to Business Insider. So Twitter denies that they're joining the fight against fake news, which means they want fake news. I guess it gets more clicks. I had to do a double take on that, and yeah, they're not fighting it. Bring it on. A female former employee of U.S. VC firm Binary Capital is suing the company for harassing and defaming her after she left the firm, according to Bloomberg. Disgraced former partner Justin Caldbeck allegedly texted Anna Lai after she left, threatening to ruin her career. Airbnb is reportedly testing another luxury tier for its service called Airbnb Lux, according to Bloomberg. The company is already working on a hotel-like service called Airbnb Select, but Lux is even fancier, offering mansions and luxurious apartments to the wealthier traveler. You know, the whole Airbnb thing, that one took me by surprise, I admit. Now, I don't care how wealthy the traveler is, I just don't know that I want them in my house, going through my drawers, looking at my stuff, going through my drawers, looking at my drawers. You know, I mean, now, if it's a vacant apartment, you know, if you're one of the wealthy and you have several apartments and one in New York happens to be vacant, I mean, sure, why not rent that? If you can't lease it for a month, you know, but if you can rent it out for a couple of nights, that's found money. I think they're going public. Germany will start slapping fines of up to $50 million or $43 million on social networks like Facebook and Twitter if they don't act quickly to remove hate speech. Freedom of speech activists said social networks shouldn't police expression. Nike is going to start selling sports kits through Amazon. The pair are conducting a pilot scheme, the CEO confirmed. Nike and Amazon teaming up. Facebook's internet beaming drone has completed a second test flight without crashing. The flight lasted 1 hour and 46 minutes. You know, it's going to take more than that to bring internet to the world. John, was that you? Okay. Instagram has released an AI-powered tool to combat spam and malicious comments. Staff trained the tool to recognize spam comments, teaching it to account for context and who's actually making the comment. And last on our list, Google has hired a new head of diversity as it makes slow progress in hiring more ethnic minorities and women. The company hired Intel's former head of diversity, Danielle Brown, and revealed 7 out of 10 employees are men, and 56% of its U.S. workforce is white. Okay. Now, those numbers might be, you know, a little off based on our population, but they don't seem that out of whack to me. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know? Greg says, I ran for Congress. It's all about money to all of them. Trump needs to get rid of those that don't support him in the next election. Yeah, I think you're right, Greg. Hey, where were you earlier? Michael was looking for you. Richard, Garrett has been working on a project. I don't know when he will be back. I've reached out to him a couple times, and I don't have a firm date or time. As soon as I do, though, I'll let you know. Let's see. Pete says, in case our audience is not familiar with this firearm, here's the stats. The Desert Eagle is fed with a detachable magazine. The magazine capacity is 9 rounds, 357 Magnum, 8 rounds in 44 Magnum, and 7 rounds in 50 Action Express, big gun, very foolish. Yeah, I didn't know those facts, but I did know that it was a large and very powerful handgun. And you know, just for a few more viewers, you know, a few more advertising dollars. Well, I think he summed it up when he said, I just wanted to be famous. Well, I guess you got your wish. You certainly are famous now. Not the way you wanted to be, sadly, but famous nonetheless. Let's go to our good word for the day, and we'll take a rip and a run through. Now, we've had, you know, these huge days, and as we all know, that after the huge days, a day of consolidation. So it won't take us long to get through those. If I can get my notes up here. Come on, there we go. All right, we all have been told that attitude is everything. Attitude equals altitude. Right? Have the right attitude. Philippians 2:5 even goes so far as to say, you must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. How many jobs do people lose every day because of poor attitudes? A lot. How many are passed over for promotion because of the way they approach their work and the people around them? How many marriages fall apart? It would be impossible to calculate any of those, but the answer is a lot. No one should ever lose a job, miss a promotion, or destroy a marriage because of a poor attitude. Why? Because a person's attitude isn't set, like the color of your eyes. It's a choice. Chuck Swindoll writes, attitude to me is more important than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It's more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. So if your attitude today is good or bad, and I'm sure you can give us good reasons why it is what it is, but the good news is if it's not a good attitude, if it's not a pleasant or pleasing attitude, you can change it. You have that power. Paul writes, you must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. He always approached people with love, grace, acceptance, and a heart to serve rather than to be served. So if your attitude hasn't been as good as it could be, make this your starting point. Pray, Father, give me a Christ-like attitude towards everyone I meet. even those I don't like and those who don't like me. It's a choice. And based on the choice that you make and the attitude that you carry, it's amazing on the days that you have a bad attitude how man, one thing after another. Stub your toe, tire on the car's flat, get to the office, you realize you left your keys to your office at home on the dresser. I mean, it just keeps building. But on those days when your attitude is more like it should be, Christ-like, doors and windows fly open that you didn't even know existed. Our attitude is such a powerful thing. And again, unlike the color of our eyes, we can change it anytime we want. That's our good word for the day. Okay, let's have a look. At last night's alerts. If you want to take a screenshot, by all means, there it is, and go right ahead. Okay. Got it? Awesome. Okay, here we go. The alerts got out last night at 8:20 p.m. Eastern, 2030. And we were looking to be buyers at 24.28. And what did we hit? 24.28 and a quarter. Not good. And the sell side, I'm sure, was probably not any better if it even triggered 24.14. No trigger. Oh. So, after a huge day in the S&P, several huge days in the S&P, this little pre-holiday Friday, not so much. All right, on the Dow, here's 2030. Okay. Consider being long at 21,290. That's going to be right about here. $21,290. And we had a little pop. Takes us up to 309. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. The big move took us all the way up to 344. So that would be 54 points. And the Dow pays $5 per point per contract. Back below the trigger. Up we go again. And this time we make it to 21,314. So that's 24 points. Okay. Soybeans. We are in the, today must be, no, today's not WASDE. Maybe there was a different report. The WASDE report typically comes out on the 12th. Now, what time did that happen? Right at noon, and then that's when the WASDE. This has to be the WASDE or some variation thereof. We had said in the email last night to consider buying 928, which is down here, and which made perfect sense. We got up to a high of 933. So if you bought 928 up to 933, that was a 5-point move. So That's pays the same as the S&P, $50 per point, $12.50 per tick, 4 ticks per point. So we had a 5-point move at $50 per point, and then this. And if this indeed was a grain report, an agricultural report, we do not trade in front of those. So although there's a huge move here, based on what we teach and how we teach it, that is not a move that we would have participated in. Okay. Bonds. Now bonds have been incredible. We had a $1,000 per contract move, followed by another $1,000 per contract move, followed by about a $500 per contract move, and then we have today, the day of consolidation that we've all known was coming, but I didn't know it would be today. Maybe I thought more like Wednesday, because often the markets will rally into a holiday weekend. I'm going to put you on hold 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, on the bonds, we were looking to be buyers at 154.15. No trigger. And sellers at 153.28. There's 153.28. And we put in a low at 153.18. So that was good for 10 ticks at 31.25 per tick. There's 32 ticks to a point. A 1-point move is good for $1,000 per contract. So there's the ES, the Dow, the beans, the bonds. Okay, I'll tell you this wouldn't take long. Okay, here's gold. Now yesterday, a couple of fairly decent moves, but $20.30. Okay, on gold we wanted to buy 12.48. And boy, look at that, 1248.2. This is what happens on a day with no follow through. And sellers at 1242. The swing low was 39, so that's a 3-point move, which is $300 per contract. So not so shabby. But if you took this trade, if this fit your risk profile, then you got stopped out. In Q, we already looked at that. Consider buying 56.50. We had a $30 move up at $20 per point. And then price got back below the trigger. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. And we rallied to 56.86.50. So that's actually 36.5 times $20 per point. Okay. Okay, what do we have left? Crude oil. Okay. Okay, there's 2030. That's when the alert went out. Now remember, we never get out at the swing high or swing low because we trail our stop. And if you trail your stop, when there's a pullback and you're taken out, based on however closely you're trailing price with your stop, you're going to leave something on the table. Last night on crude, we were looking to buy 45.20, which kept you on pins and needles all night if you bought it early. When you see this kind of overnight activity, if you got any sick days, although, I mean, even though it did, just roll sideways all night, from 45.20, there's a $200 move there, and then we had a move, $280 move, and now, whatever's got, apparently whatever's got the grains cooking has crude cooking as well. 45.78. So from 20 to 78, that's 58 points. That's $580 per contract available. There you have it. Okay. That's so far. I mean, this thing's going to town. Last but not least would be the Russell. Wow. Alright. There's 2030. Right there. And look at the horizontal line on my cursor. It touches practically every candle in the session. 1421 on the upside. Yeah, it looks like that was just enough to, nope, didn't quite touch it. No trigger to the upside. And on the flip side, looking to sell 1414 and low here. That's 130. No, it's not. It's not even that. If you got triggered in, you could very well still be in. You don't think it's moved enough to stop you out. Because remember, Russell only pays $5 a tick now, not the $10 a tick or $100 a point that we all grew up with. And the low here, 1416.80, so call it 1417. $14.12.5. I'm sorry, $14.12.5 was the low. 1.5. My goodness, just nothing there. Now, earlier in the week, I said that Well, I threw two options out there. I love it when guys do that. You know, we're definitely moving higher from here unless we start to break down. You think? Okay. I said that this could become like Christmas week because people who have big plans for the holiday weekend start to slip out of the office early on Friday or take a day. And then Monday and Tuesday, well, the markets are open part of the day Monday, but we're closed Monday. We're closed Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, well, after you've been on vacation for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, you're sunburned, hungover. Oh, you're definitely taking a day Wednesday. Now, we'll be here Wednesday. We're not going to take a day. We'll be here. But how much of the market in general will be here? Yeah, I'm not so sure. But we're going to come just to find out. And we invite you to join us. Now, I want to remind you that Wednesday, in order to get it, okay, Jim said it was the USDA major report. USDA, but not the WASD? I thought the WASD always came out around the 12th of the month. Maybe they've changed it. Maybe that's just a different report. All right. When you come back on Wednesday, okay, if you want to log in through the GoToWebinar app, which, by the way, you can do on your desktop, on your laptop, on your tablet, or your phone. Just download the free GoToWebinar app. On your desktop, you just click the link. But go to get registered, go to the home page. Now, this is for both, those of you that are in the training room, you know you have to do that the beginning of every week. But for those of you who come for the radio show, you will have to register as well, because it's the first of the month. So on the home page, on the right hand side, there's a big microphone. Just click it. Follow the instructions where it says watch live now. Click that. It'll take you 30 seconds and you'll be in looking at the charts. Okay? And typing your pithy comments into the chat box. You can also go to youtube.com/CFRN. Olus, I'm just seeing your message over in the YouTube chat. I'm not going to say that I didn't. Hey, John, is that you?
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
hi. Sorry,
hey, welcome. No, I'm glad you popped in because I was just getting ready to wrap up because it's kind of quiet. But no, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
Well, I wouldn't miss it today with the grains.
What's off. Is that that's due to a USDA report, right?
Yeah. Well, we've been preaching about it for about a month or two now.
Yeah. Now, the WASD normally comes out on the 12th. What report was this? Do you know?
I don't know, but I don't know, but it's I'll take it. And we were absolutely positioned for it because I even put out a special report this morning before this happened, and basically said you've got to be long the beans, and you've got to buy any breakout, anything above the highs this morning. It got up to 25 last night, and I think we put a buy back at 923 or 922. And now we're blasting higher. This is a really, really big deal. And by the way, look, the gold and silver, look at the gold stocks. I believe that the nugget's pretty good value around this $30 area. That's the equivalent of $7.5 bucks back on the old nugget, right? And I think that if we start to break out above 31 again on the nugget, this could be a trade for the ages. This could be a trade that could go 34, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. It could go all that. It could go a long way. This trade could go a long way, and I'd liken it to the XIV, which is currently 84, and which is the opposite of the VIX, and that XIV during this 2016 sell-off in January and February got down to, I think, back into the teens. It might have gotten below 20, or maybe it was 25, but having been up to 50 plus, it was cut in half. Not unlike the LABU. Remember, the LABU came from about 200 down to 25, and right around election time, and it's been up to 72 in the last week. So, that's the way I feel about the nugget. That it ran up massively in 2016. It's had quite a pullback, and it's come back to a level where, expounding upon your theory, the market always gives you a second chance. Well, this is your chance, and and it's a little bit like the XIV. In other words, if the XIV came right back in that correction in 2016, and look at it today, it's triple or quadruple where it was. So think about that. If we're triple or quadruple upside on this nugget, I mean, we're going to go north, somewhere between 80 and 120, and that's and wouldn't take much to do that. If gold only has to go up a couple of $100 for that to happen on the nugget. Maybe even 100. Just it could go up. So very highly leveraged, because, as I've said on the show, right now $100 in increase in price of gold. I mean, we're at $12.50 or $12.40. If we get $100 increase, you're right up there in this $13.50, and with all the lean and meanness that's been, that a lot of the costs are being cut out of mining. The oil has helped tremendously, because oil prices do have a factor in a lot of mining with all the big machinery and everything. So it's just that. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm telling you, if we go up $100, Royal Gold and Gold GOLD will go to new all-time highs almost for sure, because they're royalty type deals anyway. So it's just basically pure money for those stocks. And $100 is a lot more pure money, and $200 will put them over the top. So that's and I think it's coming. Look, you cannot keep pumping billions and billions and trillions of dollars into the economy without ultimately getting some sort of reaction that's going to be bigger than anybody can even fathom. It's coming sooner or later. And I actually look at it as we're speaking. Look, the gold is turning right here as we speak. This could be it. By the way, I am going long metals right here. We were short a little bit earlier on. I'd go long immediately right here. Please take a shot. We've been just buying and scalping and selling and scalping, trying to keep a few weeks. But now it's turning. And when grains go like this, having been down on the exchange floor, these traders aren't blind. They see what's going on, and maybe this is it. I mean, we came down to, as I was just saying to Leslie, who gave a very good little summary to me a minute ago before we got on the show. She's an outstanding analyst, by the way.
She really is. She is.
She's got it. I mean, she's right there. She's got all the facts all the time, and she's very, very smart when it comes to gold. And she agreed with me totally that, I mean, we both agreed. I mean, listen, we sold 50 tons of gold in a minute, and the market just snapped it up. I mean, it just absorbed it. And not only did it absorb it, it hit it, and it was $10 higher before the end of the day. We've been from 36 up to 54. We've come back down to 41 here. And this is the sort of nonsense that goes on in the gold market right before a big move. It comes back, it's got to test, it's got to do this and that. But meanwhile, explain to me today why I actually saw this coming last night, and somebody sent me the thing about this guy Savage went massively long the dust yesterday. Well, good for him. He was a bit late to the party. Finally goes long the last day of the dust, maybe gets $1 out of it if he was lucky.
Yeah.
Because it only got up to 31.90, and now it's back to 31. And I saw this coming last night. We put a sell on the dust, we put a sell on the J dust, we put buys on the nugget and the J nug, and so far we're doing okay. But look at the Newmont, NEM. Look at the Royal Gold. We caught all of these things yesterday near the lows, and they are really performing extremely well. Now, we may get still a little bit of a back and forth on these things, but one of the, like all these things, the way it happens is between now and maybe next week, you go to sleep, and the next thing you know, you wake up and the nugget rather is 32 or somewhere. You've got to pay up for it, but at least it's on its way, and that's probably the way this story is going to unfold. And given the way that July 4th weekend is set up with this Tuesday deal, it just might be one of those weird occasions when we get a Sunday night thing happen with the gold, suddenly, if gold takes off Sunday night, I think we're off to the races. That's kind of the way I see it. And as I was saying to Leslie, look, we've gotten knocked down on the silver back to the 16 level, and it might take us a month or two, i.e., we're July, August, September, to get to where we were in 2010, what I call my deja vu moment, when we called for $50 silver by the second quarter of 2011, right around the 16th, 17th, I forget which day it was, but it was somewhere around September the 18th or something of 2010. And that was before just about anybody ever called us silver to that level, precisely as we did at the time. And it wasn't long after that. It's still, I was still kind of questioning my call to myself, for the rest of September, because it didn't just go out the gate. It still jerked around, it was still jerking around the 18 level, either side of 18 or in the middle of 18 before it finally took off. But once it took off, it was blinding. It went 19, 20, 21, next thing you know, we were 24, 25, and before you knew it, we were in 30s, by the fall. Was really something else. It was really a tremendous move, and I have a feeling that we're in for something similar this year, later this year, with everything going on. So now, look, there might be one more run on this dust. You can never say never, and there might be another shakeout in the nuggets and the gold. But even though the grains are up, they may find a way. But I'm just saying, I think we're getting, the grains. What's happening in the grains, what's happening in all of these commodities we've been talking about, including the sugar, which got beaten down to 12, low 12s a few days ago, back to 14. It's moving. It's starting to move. Sugar is an import. When it's sugar, silver, and soybeans, it's usually that's the triple S is when you've got to have your radar on and be paying attention. So, and look at the crude. We've nailed the crude on this show.
Yeah, crude was starting to rally. It seemed like right along with the grains. I don't know.
Yeah, the crude is
crude has really jumped up.
I think this Saudi crown prince who's come on board, who's been nominated the new king crown prince, the son, that is. Look at the cotton, by the way. We put a buy out in the cotton. We've been long the cotton since like 62 or something. We really caught this rally at big time, or 66. Sorry, 65, 66. So, remember we were short from 78 all the way down, and now we've turned bullish on the cotton. The crude is, we laid it on the show. We called the lows on this show around 42-ish, 42 and a half. And with Ed and I both agreed that this is likely to happen. What's amazing about this run is it's going up on no news, and actually, I'll tell you, the last time I saw something like this happen was in 1990. There was a fellow, oil hit $9 at the end of '89, And for the first 5 months of 1990, it was sort of going up like $1 per month, almost. Sort of kept on rising. And a guy came in my office from Houston, and I told him, he's in the oil business, and I told him, something's going on here with his oil. I said, it looks to me like it's going to go through the roof this year. And we found out why on August the 2nd, 1990, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. But here's the thing. Saddam Hussein was buying all the oil all the way up from $9, because there's always a footprint in the market. There's always somebody knows something. And when you see oil going up for no reason, I mean, it probably would pay the Saudis right now to be buying their own oil in the futures market, because they're going to get more for the real stuff. And maybe they've got a deal, maybe they've got a scheme going on where half of OPEC are buying the oil right now. But there's also a lot of tension in the Middle East with Iran, and this Qatar situation is 2 or 3 days away from the deadline. So that's probably another reason why this oil is going up. But the main thing is it's going up, and that's quite helpful to the market, because it's starting to lift some of the oil stocks. The oil stocks aren't moving that much just yet, because even at $45, $46, they're still underwater. But they get back over 50, things start to change. So the fact that we have broken out from here, and it also, look, there's a million analysts out there in the world who are figuring out the price of oil every day, and a lot of these guys are very smart, and they know, they're doing the math, and they're probably figuring that the cuts, which are almost 2 million barrels a day, combined with what the hidden loss of 5 million barrels a day, which is what you lose on all these so-called magical shale wells, which tend to run well for a few months and then peter out. They don't go more than a year of decent performance before they start to really deplete quite markedly. When you multiply that by 100,000 wells, it's a big deal. So in spite of the big increase in U.S. production, the depletion going on around the world is a big factor. It's potentially 7 million barrels a day that has to be replaced right here. And then you've got Trump going out with his energy deal yesterday, and he's, it's obviously the higher the energy price, the better the Trump energy deal. It's plain and simple, because you can't, to be fair, it's hard to get the energy that he was talking about going at these prices, because it's got to be economically viable for people to go out and drill, or even pay for the right to drill, by bidding for offshore properties and all that. So getting the price of oil back up to $100 is probably a priority for. Look, if they do that, it kind of gets the world economy going again, because that's what stumbled the world economy from 14 to 15 and caused all this deflation. If they're pumping all this money into the world and it gets the thing going, and look, the next time oil goes to $100, it's not such a big deal, because actually if the dollar goes down, another 10 or 20%, it helps that oil get up to $50 or $60, which makes the whole thing a whole lot more, economically viable. So,
right.
And I think it's quite possible we're going to hit $100 again before 2020. It's almost inevitable, because given the amount of, a year ago when we were saying this, the world was a very different place than where it is today. There's a lot of hope for the future in the world right now, and you can see an economic recovery on the horizon, because look at the way Europe has performed over the last year. It's pretty incredible. And look, and here we are, the U.S. GDP up yesterday. It's right on track to hit our 2% target in this next quarter, second quarter, 3% in the third quarter, and possibly even 4% in the fourth quarter. Even though nobody's saying that right now, it really could happen, and it's more than likely going to happen, because the market is up so much that the economy will almost for sure follow in another 6 months' time. Why is that the case? Because there's so much money being pumped into this economy. It's never happened before. It's never happened before at this kind of rate. So, and it is working. Look, even Japan, which has been an absolute basket case, its economy grew at more than 2% for the first time in 20 years or something. So it's incrementally around the world, all of these things are really, really very positive indeed. And they might happen is out of nowhere, especially if the dollar gets hammered. All of a sudden, this sort of demand cycle in the commodities will do what they have a habit of doing, which is coming from behind and surprising everybody. And then you know what happens next? The Fed starts raising rates like much more aggressively, and the price of gold goes up double or triple. That is what we believe is going to happen in the next few years. That's our thesis.
Now, it wasn't so long ago that we were paying $4 a gallon for gas. I mean, it's been a few years, but people with Hummers and other gas hogs, they were practically giving those things away.
Yep.
So,
it's true, but you know what? It's coming back, and look, we're even getting a little bit of upside. We just said a while ago that we thought we'd rally into the close here in this market. I think here's what I see happening with the market. In spite of yesterday's crashing, which is a little bit of a surprise, what we actually did, because I didn't get a chance to report on yesterday, was this is a little bit like a more fine-tuned system of what you're doing, Dwayne. We basically sold everything on Wednesday night. Okay, we basically sold all these FANGs, Facebook and Amazon, all these things, right at the top. We sold all the stocks that we follow, all the momentum stocks, all the drug stocks and everything, the LABU at 72, I might add. And we basically, in doing so, went short because we're always long or short. So we shorted everything going into at the end of Wednesday. And then I noticed on the NASDAQ that we made a slightly higher high on the NASDAQ, which was not confirmed by the other indices, which we had already shorted. And so we decided to sell and short the NASDAQ right at the almost a tick or two off the high. And then next thing you know, it's down during the night. And then it absolutely was taken apart yesterday. Now, we got very lucky yesterday, I think it was late morning, when the NASDAQ was down the NASDAQ was down about 140, 150, something like that. And the Dow was down 240. Having seen this movie before a few times, I have remembered it a lot of times. I'm giving some of my secrets away here, but when you get a Dow down about 240 very early in the day, it has a tendency to come back and test the 200, the minus 200, right? So we were able to pick that exact bottom. We reversed all of our positions from Wednesday night, went back along the market on everything pretty much that was bottoming out. At that moment when the NASDAQ was down, that is extreme, and I said, watch for two things. Watch for the Dow to go minus 200, and if it keeps cutting losses, that stick with everything, it's very bullish. And I said, if the NASDAQ gets to about minus 100, same thing. Well, the NASDAQ did actually go less than 100 down. And where we are today, we're probably minus 80 or so on the same scale, adding in what we've gained today. And the Dow is only down about 100 now from Wednesday. So it's not that far away from where we were on Wednesday night. And what I think is going to happen here is we rally into the close, and then you are either going to get a gap up on Sunday night, or we'll get a continuation of this rally. And I'd say a fairly high probability that by Monday, by the close of Monday, the early close before the July 4th, I wouldn't be surprised if we're up another 50 NASDAQ points or so, possibly up another 50 or 100 points on the Dow, and sort of back on track to restart the big rally in all the FANGs and all the drug stocks next week in a pretty big way for what could be a blistering 2 or 3 weeks or so in July. Barring something really bad happening in the world, there's obviously a possibility something like that could happen that could torpedo this idea. But assuming that everything goes according to plan, I think this last sell-off yesterday was kind of, just to take the bullishness out of the market and get everybody worried and ahead of the next up move, which I think yesterday's down move is a hint of how big the up move is going to be that's coming, the next up move. And look at the bonds. They're not that far off the lows here. They're breaking down again. The bonds look to me like they're going to tank in the next few days again. And that actually is going to be like pouring gasoline on the fire as far as stocks are concerned. Now, it doesn't always work out exactly right, but at some point when the bonds start cracking, the market tends to get a bit of a stimulus, if you like. And actually, one of the, when you've got the bank stocks leading the way like yesterday, the bank stocks held up better than anybody yesterday. And we caught the bank rally right on the early breakout. And the bank stocks, higher interest rates are like, crack cocaine to the banks. So
yeah, right.
And so when you've got the banks leading the way, and the transports, look at the transports, they're leading the way today. That is, pretty much that's the story. You just got to have faith. And also the mid cap has been incredibly resilient, and the mid cap is a leading indicator of right now with these markets. So you've got the transports are really performing very well today, and that's a particularly bullish indicator, if you like.
Well, you've always looked at the Dow Transports as a bit of a leading indicator. I know that.
Yeah. And look, they're not making new all-time highs yet. If that happens, Katie bar the door. But they are on a pretty good uptrend from the recent lows, and they look like they're going to hit new highs before, probably in July. They're not that far away right now. So, and look, just right now when you see the market sort of gradually, tick by tick, clawing their way higher, this is good action. This is quite encouraging. What we're seeing today, and it's look, a lot of the things have been beaten down. I mean, we were pretty bullish on Twitter, and we did get another buy off it actually late yesterday, but it ran up dramatically, and then it looked like it was going to go to the moon, and they beat it down just like they beat everything else down. And the same thing happened with most of the drug stocks. Nvidia has not suffered too badly, which I think is encouraging. Nvidia is probably a buy right here. Again, it was on this spike down this morning. If it gets back above 146, 147 here, it's probably going to have another run towards the highs again. And the semiconductors in general are acting quite well also. So there's a distinct possibility that in the first week or two of July, we could be synchronized new all-time highs in as many as 10 different indices of one sort or another, and that will be extremely bullish potentially for the market, at least for a month or two. So
the S&P is awfully quiet compared to how Crude is really putting together quite a
Yeah, well, good point. As I say, that's the problem. The oil stocks are not getting their normal. I think if oil was at $50 instead of where we are, that extra $5 would bring a lot more oil into the components. A lot more oil interest, if you like. I think people, this last sell-off in the stocks has really kind of taken the wind out of people's sails in the oil sector, and has made them very fearful of the whole sector. But a couple of days ago, this Morgan Stanley came out and called them the biggest bulls in the world. Quite frankly, we're bigger bulls than they are, and the reason why is they're looking for about 23% upside from here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if there's 23% from where we took off with the Trump election. If that's the case, there's only a few percent more in it. But if they're looking for a whole 23% up, then, I wouldn't disagree with that, because, as we said on the show, the implications of the Trump tax cuts are so bullish, it's hard to fathom. And I mean that sincerely.
I just hope that he can get them through. I mean, it's not
it's
not a matter of Republicans fighting with Democrats. It's the infighting amongst the GOP that has gridlocked everything.
Look, if they get the health care done next week, that is going to be almost half of the tax cut in the bag, in the sense that people are going to say, well, if they can get the health care done, the tax cut is a shoo-in. But it's not, look, it's a quadruple, really. But really, it's the tax cuts, the trillions coming back from overseas, and the infrastructure. Those three things are a trifecta. And you just have to go back in history and look at the previous times it's happened. And the numbers are so staggering that we're only just out of the starting gate. I mean, we're up 20% for the year. They're barely in the NASDAQ, and not even that in some of the other industries. Since the election. The last time this happened, the market went up 38% before the tax cut was announced. Went up another 50% after the tax cut. And these tax cuts are potentially bigger and better than the previous time. So a real mania could happen once this all gets going, and it would be incredibly good for Trump, because I guarantee you that before he stumbled here in the last couple of days, he was sort of winning a lot of points back, and people had kind of got off this Russian thing and they're sort of settling down, and then he goes and does this thing yesterday which didn't go down too well. But but apart from that, he's doing very well, because, as I said on the show a couple of days ago, look, the incremental efforts of everything that Trump is doing is being reflected in the economy. It's being felt in the economy. And I know that you on the ground, and a lot of people who are listening to the show on the ground, are probably not seeing the results yet. But I think they're coming. And when you get this consumer confidence, in 118.9, that is really, it's a joy to see, because we haven't seen any numbers like that for a long, long time. And when the tax cuts happen, it won't be just pouring gasoline on the fire. It'll be like napalm. It'll be something. You can't even, you can see a mania come in this market of proportions we've never ever seen in our lives ever. It'd be almost the equivalent of the run up in gold in 1980 happening in stocks.
Well,
and it makes sense, because look, they're right now they're pumping all this money in, and I mean, look, the Fed supposedly stopped stimulating. They may have a secret stimulus going on, but they supposedly stopped stimulating the U.S. market about 3 years ago, 3 or more. Where are we today? We're making new highs. Okay, the Europeans have got at least another 6 months built in, along with the Brits and the Japanese. There's virtually almost another $2 trillion and stimulus still coming into the world economy over the next 6 months. That's what I'm saying. If we get enough, look, if you look at any long-term chart, the Facebook and Amazon, all these things look like they're going to go parabolic. And by going parabolic, I mean, and I'm not kidding, these stocks could go up 40% more from here. You know, they could have a really, really dramatic run right up into the mid-teens. You know, in terms of $1,500 or some, you know, possibly even higher than that. They could go really wild because they're very profitable companies in of themselves at the moment. They're probably undervalued by most measures, right? And once those tax cuts comes up, you basically wind back the multiples from 20 back to 13. So that alone opens up another 40 or 50% upside for stocks, because they're going to be by virtue of the tax cut, they're going to be drastically undervalued. Almost every company, I mean, look, any small company has paying 35% tax, and suddenly only has to pay 15. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's more money to the shareholders and owners of the company, and it's going to automatically make these companies dramatically more valuable. And if there's a lot of people short, and there's a lot of professional shorters on Wall Street who don't know how to do anything else, they're going to get absolutely annihilated in a rally. You know, that's going to be a lot like the 2000 blow-off that caused Yahoo to go to numbers, you know, crazy numbers like $140 a share. Might happen.
Yeah, and once this run-up is over, what do you think it's going to look like then? I mean,
well, we're going to have by my reckoning, you know, I see this as a fairly long-term deal. I think we could run up, you know, right into 22. We could go all the way to 22 before we have some troubles. Now, obviously, politically, depending on what happens as we get to 2020, that may change somewhat. But even if you get a new president, potentially the rally could keep going. So I really see 2020. I certainly see the early 20s as the first sign of trouble. Maybe within the first year or two of the next. Put it this way: if Trump gets reelected, I don't think there's going to be any accidents till 22 or 23. But if somebody else comes in, it might be different. It might the first year or two of the next decade might be a problem. But there's going to be a problem, and when it comes, it's going to be hurtful. It's going to be quite a big deal. It'll take the market back to a reset point somewhere. You know, who knows? It could come back to 16,000, 17, 19, 20. It could, you know, if we're up to 26 or 27, and we come back down to 20 or something like that would be probably the limit. But after that, we're going to get a very big run up to about 30,000 plus, maybe even 36,000 beyond that. So the rest of the 20s could be tremendous.
Well,
have you noticed there's more and more flying machines coming out of the woodwork every day?
Oh yeah, everywhere you look, there's a new one.
It's coming during the. You know, when you look at that lithium, every time I look at that video, it's just so surreal. That is really it's coming. You know, it's going to come, and it looks incredible right now, and it looks hard to fathom, and the safety and all that. But you know what? 5 or 10 years from now, all those things will be they'll be mainstream. You know, they'll be normal. That'll be normal. Certainly in 10 to 15 years, it's going to be the case for sure, without any doubt.
Yeah. We were talking about gas earlier, and Frederick said in Las Vegas they're paying $2.57 a gallon, and I think here in Phoenix we're around $2.30. Anybody on the East Coast or Midwest tuned in? What kind of price are you paying for gas there? And Bruce, as far as Leslie and any feelings she has towards natural gas, she's not on with us, but you could always call her at 866-928-3310. She does write a newsletter every Friday, the Weekly Gold Digger, and you can read that at Daniel's Trading, also at Inside Futures, and on Bar Chart. But as far as natural gas, I don't know. What about you, John? Do you any thoughts on natural gas?
Natural gas is just around 3,000 exactly right now. It actually has been the surpluses so far this year have been quite small. They're not replacing the gas that was lost in the winter of last winter or the winter before. So there's, in line with the comments we've been talking about, the oil being stronger in the second half of this year, it's distinctly possible that the natural gas, this coming cycle, could actually be the one we thought might happen last year, which is, where it ran up to 360 or something like that, 3,600. This year we might see a $4 or $5 gas. We might see a lot higher gas prices. So
now gasoline, I'm seeing prices $2.30 to $2.50. I think that's pretty much across the country. Between $2.30 and $2.50. That's gasoline that I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
But natural
gas. By the way, another thing is
go ahead.
Another reason for this increase in energy prices is actually a little bit about what Trump was talking about yesterday, which is where the U.S. is actually exporting oil now. Remember, U.S. has to import still about 11 million barrels a day, right? So they're kind of exporting, finished products, if you like, and specialist products like gasoline. They export a lot of gasoline to Mexico, but the Saudis are exporting less oil. They're cutting their exports to the U.S. and the Iraqis are increasing it a little bit. But overall, they may have cut back their imports by 10 or 20 million barrels per month or something like that. So that could be another reason why the oil is actually rising right now. They're just plain importing less as they produce more locally. So it's kind of balancing the oil more here in the U.S. And it makes sense because they got a huge, the strategic petroleum reserves are chock full of oil. So they've got plenty of, extra there if they need it, kind of thing.
Well, Crude is continuing to climb as we have talked, and we're at 45 and change right now, closing in on 46, and 46.70 was the highest we saw it going for the week. I don't think it's gonna make it there. We're still at 40. We're at 45.87. We could see 46 by the close if this thing keeps moving.
This breakout in the grains is, which we were talking about, to be ready for. You've got to sort of take a shot at buying the next pullback if you're not already in it, because if it goes, and look, after a day like this, you could have a gap up higher on Monday, and it'll be even harder to catch then. But the way these grains go, when they decide to go and it's the real deal, they can go a long, long way. They can go a long, long way. So, you could be over 1,000 on the beans in a few days, literally, by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, easily. And look at the oats. I don't think I've ever seen oats go up so much in quite a while. I mean, we actually put a buyout on oats a couple of days ago at around the 260 area, or even less. And it's 284 right now. Little oats, nobody ever pays any attention to oats, but oats is an important component. And look at the wheat. The wheat, the last, they knocked the wheat down. Just like the gold today, They knocked the wheat down. Go back and look at the chart a few days ago, and they knocked the wheat down and made it look awful. And look at it today; it's absolutely on fire. It's almost limit. I think it's limit up. It's virtually about to go limit up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this grain report and see what was in it that was so explosive. Bruce says that they are starting to use drones to keep an eye on sharks at the beach now in some places, at least those places with clear water. I didn't know that. Bruce, I didn't know we had. Is there some uptick in shark activity? Is there? Or are they just using the technology?
Big white. No, there's been a lot of great white shark seen in schools of them. Up on the East Coast. It's really a problem.
Really, I hadn't heard about it.
Yeah. And these drones are becoming more robust and better, with longer range and stuff. And a lot of these local TV stations are using drones now instead of choppers where they can, so that's quite interesting. Drones are being used for an awful lot of things that people never thought of.
Yeah, and we've got a couple here around the house, Christmas gifts and whatnot. They're not anything expensive or fancy, but boy, trying to fly those things is quite a challenge.
Yeah, and I know it's not easy, but that's why the more sophisticated drones these days are
probably easier to fly. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at it looks as if the Nugget and the J-Nug and the golds in general are going to go out near the highs of the day today. The gold, the silver looks like it's positioned for higher prices here. The gold is still not, held back a little bit around the 1242 area, but I think if it can get back towards 1245 and get above that, I think we're going to go somewhere for real. And incidentally, the dog of the day, which has been, or dog of the year, has been palladium, is finally getting out of the box a little bit here. And sorry, not palladium, platinum. Palladium also reversed upwards today as well. So all of the metals are kind of synchronizing back to bullish. And I think this time, the palladium is probably a buy if it breaks the 930 area, it starts really getting some upside traction from here. I think if this time, after a lot of false starts, it might be the real, it might be finally time to go with palladium. And if you start to see palladium really start to outperform on the upside, I would consider that to be an endorsement for the gold bull theory, if you like. You definitely need to see that for gold to go into a real bull market.
Yeah. Okay. Well, John, we're about out of time.
Anything
else you'd like to add?
No, I think we're fine.
Covered it all? Okay. All right.
We'll
be closed Monday. We'll be closed Tuesday, but we'll be back on Wednesday.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you Wednesday.
I'll see you then. Have a great weekend. Great holiday.
All right.
All right, guys. That's going to do it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Of course, it's the weekend. So that means spend some quality time with your family. I'll see you all in church on Sunday. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.